Hey guys, it's Starla Flippin Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin Hippos, and welcome to Hungry Hippo. Today on Hungry Hippo, I'm going to show you how to make a recipe that Keith and I call cheesy chicken and rice. It does take 2 steps to make it, or a couple of steps 2 nights in a row, but it's still super easy to make. Tonight I'm going to show you the first step, what you need to do before you put the crock pot on. And then tomorrow night I'll be back to show you the final steps that get it ready for your family to eat. Now you can make this in the morning and put it right on your crock pot. I make it the night before and put it in the fridge. I just feel like some of the flavors mix together a little bit better. The chicken marinates overnight and then it cooks for those 6 to 8 hours on low heat in your crock pot. And I just feel like it tastes a little bit better that way. But I have been in a rush before, or in a hurry, or forgot the night before and made it in the morning and it still was good. So you're going to need a crock pot. You're going to need salt and pepper. You're going to need some garlic. You can use garlic powder or you can use fresh garlic. I will put the Chef's Thesaurus link in the description. That website is amazing. You can look up anything on it and it tells you all the alternatives if you wanted to use fresh garlic or garlic powder, the equivalent. And then I use minced onion here. I use a tablespoon of this, which is about 1 small white onion or half of a medium white onion. Again, you could check that on Chef's Thesaurus if you want to use fresh onion. Keith does not like onion, but he doesn't mind the flavor of onion, so I tend to use these rather than real onions because it gets the flavor in there, but Keith doesn't have to eat something he doesn't like, big old chunks of cooked onion. You're also going to need 16 ounces or 1 pound of corn. You can see my bag is a 2-pounder. It's just cheaper to buy that way. We buy a lot of our stuff in bulk. I will actually get out our reselling scale and weigh the corn before I put it in tomorrow night to make sure I have an exact pound split up, and then the remainder I put in a Ziploc bag in our freezer, and it's good for up to a month. So if you guys didn't know that, you can buy vegetables in bulk. You guys probably all have scales laying around. We're all resellers, and you can freeze the remainder for up to a month, and it's a lot cheaper to buy it that way. You'll need some rice. We use plain old white rice, and we cook it in a rice cooker that we actually found at a yard sale for like $5, and it's the best $5 I've ever spent. Keith and I eat a lot of rice. We love just plain white rice, Keith especially. So I buy it in bulk in giant bags, and we store it in this tub, and we cook it in the rice cooker before we add it in, and you'll see me do that tomorrow night. The original recipe I took this from actually calls for Zatarain's rice. The Cajun flavor if you like spicy, or the plain yellow and bell pepper flavor of the Zatarain's rice if you don't want spicy. But we just prefer the white rice over the flavored. You can use either or. You're going to need 1 12-ounce can of cream of chicken. You're going to need 1.5 cups of chicken broth. You can buy pre-made chicken broth and use 1.5 cups. Or you can get bouillon cubes or base and make your own, which is what I do. And then you're going to need 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And you can put them right in frozen. Even if you're making this in the morning or making this directly before you cook it in the slow cooker, you can use frozen chicken. That's the best part about cooking in the crock pot, because you're just pulling things out of your freezer, dumping it all in here, putting it over there for 6 to 8 hours, and making a meal. And you don't have to worry about thawing out your chicken. So this has been pre-weighed too. We buy our chicken in bulk as well. And so this is pre-weighed into 1 pound. And it is important that you have boneless, skinless chicken breasts, because once it's done cooking, you're gonna shred it with 2 forks right on in the crock pot, and you don't want skin or bones in there. So what you do first is you put your chicken broth in, but I'm just adding 1.5 cups of water because I use my base here. And I use this so often, I actually already know my measurements. You'll just want to check on yours. Most of them give you measurements on the back for 1 cup, so you'll have to do 1.5 cups of, kind of might have to do some math in your head if you're using this. And then I eyeball my garlic. I'll tell you guys to use about 1 teaspoon. I eyeball it. We really like garlic though. 99.9% of meals I cook have onion and garlic flavoring because that's just flavors that we enjoy. So I'm probably a little heavy-handed on it. There's our onions. And then this you just add to taste, or you eyeball. And I'm going to show you guys a trick with the pepper. Take your salt on the top and twist it, your pepper comes out a lot faster. Check that out. And it doesn't have to be perfectly mixed together. I usually just take one of these and kind of mix it up. And you can kind of see in there. And then you will add your cream of chicken. And again, this doesn't have to be uniformly smooth or completely mixed into the watery mixture. You just want to get it, to come out of the can. That's what you want to do. I always think that looks like vanilla pudding when it comes out. Kind of gross. So just get it all out of the can, get it in there, and like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can even add a little extra water into the can to get all your cream of chicken soup out, or hold some of your chicken stock or broth back for that. It can be chunky, it can look gross. It's fine. Once everything starts slow cooking, that will separate itself and smooth out. It creates kind of a gravy for the chicken. And then tomorrow night we'll be adding the corn, pre-cooked rice, and some cheese, and letting it cook a little bit more. And like I said, this will turn into a nice gravy, and you'll have your rice. Looking for someone to put that, that's not going to make a mess. And I don't like to touch raw meat, so excuse me while I'm really weird about this with the plastic wrap. Just make sure each piece of your chicken, I'm going to have to touch it. Just make sure they get wet, so when you put them in there, turn them over and around. You can move them around. Yeah, I'm going to have to touch this. You can move them around like this, but they don't all have to be flat on the bottom. That's the other beautiful thing about the slow cooker. Chunky soup, chicken stacked on top of each other, it's all going to cook uniformly. And then this will cook for 6 to 8 hours on low. And tomorrow night I will be back to show you the final steps to make this into one of the most delicious meals you and your family are ever going to eat. Hey guys, so it is the next night and my chicken has been cooking for about 7 hours on slow in the crock pot. You can see here that I already have most of it shredded here with 2 forks. You can do this part right in the crock pot. I usually just take it out and do it on a plate, but it can be done straight in the crock pot. So I'm going to add that back in to the mixture of the cream of chicken with the chicken broth and the onions and other seasonings we added last night. And then you're going to add your rice. Like I said, you can use Zatarain's rice if you like a little bit of flavor or a kick. We like just plain white rice right out of our rice cooker. But you do want to make sure your rice is pre-cooked. You don't want to add it in here raw. And then you're going to add in 1 pound of corn. I have some here that's already pre-weighed for us. Okay, and then I recommend using one of these pasta spoons just because it has the teeth on it. It can grab that shredded chicken and mix it in really good with the other ingredients in here. See if you guys can see. That cream of chicken created a nice gravy, but you're going to want it thicker than this before you eat it. So once you get it thoroughly mixed in, we're going to put some cheese on top. You're going to put the lid back on the crock pot, keep it on low, and let it continue cooking for about 20 minutes. That just gives all the flavors time to mix together. That gravy sauce will get thicker, and then your cheese will melt. So it calls for 1 cup of cheese. I know this is approximately half a bag, which is half a cup. I cut mine in half just because I don't want to add a whole bag, 8 ounces of cheese. And you can see even with using half of what the original recipe called for, it's plenty. And you can always add more to taste. So if you want to do like half a bag or 4 ounces or half a cup, in here, and then when you serve it at the table, you can put cheese on the table for folks to sprinkle over their own servings if they like more cheese. So now I'm just going to put the lid on, let it cook for 20 minutes, and then it's ready to serve. It makes a lot of food, so you'll probably have leftovers unless you have a really big family, and then I would recommend doubling the recipe. What we do with the leftovers once the crock pot has cooled down, we just take the whole crock pot, put it right on in the fridge. Tomorrow night, an hour and a half to 2 hours before we eat, I put the whole thing back on low and let it cook for about an hour and a half to 2 hours on low, stir it up real good, and just serve up the leftovers that way. Or you can put it in other containers out of the crock pot and put it in your refrigerator and microwave the leftovers if you want to make like single servings for lunches or anything like that. So this is one of our favorites. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm excited to hear if you guys try it. And smash that like button before you leave. That always helps our channel. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. Don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified when I put up new content. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're at Flippin' Hippos across all social media. Until next time, you guys, have a good night.